Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another edition of BSSN Wrestling. My name is Blake Wright, and today I got an all-star lineup for you guys. Joining me first is Brian Armand, a.k.a. Mocha Latte, who is all the way out in Arizona. And then joining me, batting third for us today, is my good friend Jeremy, who's all the way at Indiana State. And the funny thing is that he got called Calvin Klein today on, or no, not Calvin
Harris,
Klein,
you
Calvin
dumbass.
Harris. Yes, Calvin Harris. He got called Calvin Harris. So how did that feel, Jeremy, to get called to
Hey,
Calvin Harris today?
I would think Calvin Klein a lot better than Taylor Swift's boyfriend.
Yeah, I would rather be Calvin Klein rather than being freaking Calvin Harris too. But yeah,
Well,
anyways.
Calvin Harris is a good-looking dude, but it's the fact that he has to bang Taylor Swift is my problem. But
I,
you know
I would
whatever.
I would gladly do things to Taylor Swift. Mocha Latte, how's it going, man?
What's up? How's it going? Hanging out with Blake, hanging out with Calvin Harris, not Calvin Klein. Other than that, anytime you can hang out with Calvin Harris, it's a great night.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Hey Calvin, how's Taylor Swift doing?
You know what? She's just waiting to write another song about me.
Okay, so anyway, guys, you guys are probably unfamiliar with the nicknames. So Brian is Mocha Latte. It's a long story about how we did that. And then Jeremy is Calvin Harris. So anyway, today, guys, you guys saw the hype on Twitter. You saw the hype on Periscope. You probably got a DM from me. But we are going to do a complete fan mail one. We got a ton of questions really, really quick, which is awesome. And this one's going to be really, really laid back. You know, we're not going to try to be professional about it. This is just going to be a pretty funny one. This will probably be the most entertaining one. This one is mostly going to be about wrestling, but we got questions that were based around sports and actually based around life and business. So this one's going to be pretty interesting. So let's go ahead and get started out with the sports boys. So pretty much the order how it's going to go. I'll go ahead and let the listeners in on the, on the little ongoing joke that we have. So before Jeremy's like, man, like we need to come up with an order. And Brian was like, all right, how about we just go Blake, Jeremy, and then him, Brian. And I was just like, all right, yeah, that's cool. We got like the BJB. And yes, we did just say BJ, and we know what the acronym fucking stands for. But anyways, let's go ahead and get this started out. First thing we got was someone wanted us to talk about the college football national championship coming up between Alabama and Clemson, and they want to hear our prediction on it. In my mind, Alabama's going to win this one easily. It's going to take Jesus Christ himself for Clemson to beat Alabama, in my mind. No one's going to outcoach Nick Saban, and no one's going to stop that freaking Ford F-150 named Derrick Henry. No one's going to be able to stop him, in my mind. So now we got the B done, so let's go ahead and get to the J. Jeremy, who you got, Alabama or Clemson, and why?
I've got Bama simply because Clemson's done a good job at finding a way to win, even when their backs are up against the wall and the odds aren't in their favor. I had them lose to Michigan State. So they find a way to pull it out, but I definitely just don't see them beating a football winning program such as Alabama and Nick Saban's young roll tide.
All right, so you got Alabama. Now, Brian, are you going to be that one fucker and pick Clemson?
Well, just like Calvin Harris likes to have Taylor Swift up against the wall, that's pretty much how I feel right now. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take Clemson. And I'm going to let you guys in on a little secret. Blake fucked up earlier on this podcast, and we had to do this shit again.
Yeah, we did.
So I'm taking Clemson so I can make fun of these fuckers when
Yeah.
loses.
Yeah, guys, and what he's referred to pretty much, I messed up the original copy of the podcast. It was great, but, the podcast that we're doing right now, it's still going to be gold, and it's going to be laid back. So he's taking Clemson just so he could completely make fun of us. And you know what, Brian? I respect the hell out of that. So another thing, what were we saying, Jeremy?
I said, Ryan, you just wish you could push Taylor Swift up against the wall.
We're still going.
I'm already up against the wall. I just need some red lipstick now.
He just needs some red lipstick. This is great. I like the start of this. Like, I'm telling you what, we're going to take down Howard Stern in no time. But anyways, another question that got brought up to our attention was the Super Bowl prediction. The Super Bowl, or excuse me, the playoffs are starting tomorrow. And I know it's really, really early, but some jackass wants to know what we think about that one. So pretty much right now, with how it's going, the AFC and the NFC is completely up for grabs. I don't think there's any clear-cut favorite. So I'm going to have to go with the Denver Broncos and Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning's looking good again. He looked good in Week 17. He was named the starter. And on top of it, that defense is going good and they're running the ball well. And the Patriots, they're looking a little sluggish. They don't know how to block for Tom Brady. I don't see the Chiefs having that star power, even though they've won 10 in a row. And I don't think the Steelers can do it anymore just because of that big injury to D'Angelo Williams. They need D'Angelo Williams. So I'm taking the Broncos in the AFC. And then in the NFC, it's still confusing as hell. Like, I swear to God, Helen Keller might be able to predict the Super Bowl better than me just because of how confusing it is. And, if I had to, predict the NFC, originally I was going to say Arizona, but then Seattle beat Arizona. And then, I would say the Panthers, but I'm kind of worried about the Panthers with, their strength of their schedule because, Jeremy, he'll let you in on a little fact later. But they haven't beaten that many good teams. And they're still a very, very young team, and usually that doesn't translate to playoff success. So I'm going to have to go with the team that's been to the Super Bowl the past 2 years, and that's the Seattle Seahawks. So I'm saying it's going to be a Super Bowl, I believe it was 47 or 48 rematch. I'm going with the Seahawks and the Broncos. Jeremy, your Super Bowl predictions. Let's hear it.
Before I get to that, I do want to mention something because I've been getting a lot of people pissed off that Peyton Manning is starting, even though Brock Osweiler has been doing a hellacious job. Maybe he has. But here's the thing when it comes to sports. Peyton Manning is the starter. That's it, plain and simple. And Brock Osweiler's job is a backup. And his job is to back up the starter while he is hurt. It doesn't matter how good he does or how bad he does. And since he won those games, then he did his job as backup. And Peyton Manning is healthy, so since he is the starter, he comes in. It's fair. That's how it is. And there's people out there that think that it was unfair that Peyton Manning is starting over Osweiler. It's not unfair. And so I think the Broncos, now that they have Peyton Manning in, is a huge powerhouse that I just don't think they can get past the Patriots. So I'm going to pick the Patriots. Obviously, they're going to run through the playoffs like they normally do. They're my AFC. And in the NFC, I don't think the Panthers can do it. Like you said, only 2 of their wins have been over teams that are have a greater record than 500. They haven't impressed me that much this year. Cam Newton is a beast, but I just don't see them taking down the Arizona Cardinals. That's what I'm picking. Cardinals, Patriots, Super Bowl.
All right, so you got Cardinals, Patriots. Brian, who you got, homie?
All right, so AFC, I'm going to go with the Patriots, just like Calvin Harris said. Tom Brady, too much star power in the playoffs. It's the proven record. Everybody's seen his numbers. If you have a Facebook account, you've seen the memes pop up.
Yes, you have.
So you're going to get Tom Brady. And then NFC-wise, I'm going to go, even though he threw out his stat, which is not the Carolina Panthers' fault, the teams that they played couldn't win any game before they fucking got to them to play them.
Right.
It's not their fault.
That is true.
They still whip some ass. I'm going with them. I told these guys earlier, black quarterbacks matter. I want some color up in the Super Bowl, so let's let Cam take it all the way.
All right, so he's saying Cam, and I gotta say, Cam has had one hellacious, run. Like, he's easily the MVP of the league, and I think, we can all agree on that one. So I'll tell you what are we wanting to talk about next? Do you guys want to talk a little bit about some sports, or do we want to switch on to the world of wrestling, or do we want to do the fan mail questions about life and business? What do you guys want to do? Mocha Latte and Calvin Harris, what do you guys want to do?
I want to talk about Taylor Swift.
You want to talk about Taylor Swift. Why do you want to talk about Taylor Swift?
She's my bae.
She's your bae. All right, let's hear about her.
Apparently, if I'm freaking Calvin Harris.
Yeah, not Calvin Klein, Calvin Harris.
Yeah, no, not Calvin Klein. Trust me, I don't have the body for Calvin Klein.
I mean, hey, Justin Bieber had the body supposedly to do it, and he's like a freaking walking toothpick.
I eat too much ice cream and Twinkies to not have the body for Calvin Klein.
Right. Okay. So pretty much, like I said, the ongoing joke with the whole entire Calvin Harris thing is pretty much someone on Periscope, like three different people on Periscope today said, "Oh my gosh, you look like Calvin Harris," and me and Brian just love giving Jeremy some shit. So
Yeah.
for real though,
On my Periscope at Tonto Jr. I had to throw that picture in.
yeah, there's that little promo. Follow him on Periscope, Tonto Jr. TONTOJR. And then also be sure to show Brian some love. It's Brian Armand, and it's Armand. Well, Brian is spelled because some people spell Brian weird as shit, and one of those people isn't Brian. Brian spells Brian right. He spells Brian BRIAN. Last name Armand ARMON 24. That's his username. Be sure to show him some love because he's a funny ass dude. So anyways, let's go ahead and start out with all the questions that I got from Corbin to Mam. She asked me a ton of questions, so let's tackle these. First thing she asked, what's that?
I said speed round.
Yeah, speed round. We'll do it really, really quick. So we got, where did your interest in professional wrestling come from? So I'll go ahead and start it out. Like we said, we're doing the BJB connection. And we're going to start out with Blake and then Jeremy, then Brian. But my love for professional wrestling pretty much began when my dad made me come downstairs and watch The Rock deliver a promo in the Attitude Era. I thought it was hilarious how he kept on telling Michael Cole, it doesn't matter what you think, and it doesn't matter if you like pancakes and all that. I thought it was freaking hysterical, and pretty much it was my dad introducing me to Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Jeremy, how did your love for professional wrestling happen?
Dude, I know I was watching it on TV, but I really can't tell you what I was watching or when it was. I mean, I know I was little and flipping through the channels, and a lot of wrestlers can tell you I was flipping through the channel, and then I saw Rob Piper delivering the tune-up coconut to the head, and they remember that one moment, but I don't remember. I was just flipping through the channels when I was younger, and SmackDown must have been on TV, and I was just hooked, and ever since then I've been watching it.
So you started out on SmackDown, and you just did it when you were...
I was a SmackDown guy.
All right, see, I was a Monday Night Raw.
I was an Undertaker guy. I love The Undertaker.
All right, so you loved your good old Undertaker. Brian, what about you, bro?
And I'm gonna take mine back. I used to I had an awesome grandfather who used to watch it, so he had some tapes of the Ultimate Warrior.
The Ultimate Warrior, yeah.
I've never seen a guy. Yeah, I've never seen a guy get that freaking hyped up in my entire life to go out and do something that he loves. So I just fell in love with wrestling from that point on.
Yeah, so the Ultimate Warrior, and little known fact, they would always say, parts unknown, but he is actually an Indiana boy. Did you know that, Brian?
I did know that.
What's that?
Isn't it Crawfordsville?
Yeah, he's from Crawfordsville, Indiana, which is kind of a small town in Indy. Brian knew it, so yeah, big props to Brian. I didn't know if he would know that.
You know what else?
What's that?
It's Foley. It's an Indiana boy.
Yep, born in Bloomington. He's also in Indiana. So, Indiana's actually produced some professional wrestlers. Mick Foley and Ultimate Warrior. There's two WWE Hall of Famers. So, in your face, all you fuckers that say Indiana doesn't do anything. We just gave you two wrestling legends. So Corbin, that's how, our love for professional wrestling came from. And then she said, what do you like about social media? Man, I'll tell you what. Social media can be cool. You can reach out to some awesome people. I got in touch with Teddy Long. Jeremy today got in touch with the Boogeyman. Got to talk to Jake the Snake Roberts a little bit over email, and get him on my podcast. But, right now, my favorite part about it is just meeting all the fans and all the cool people. You know what I mean? If it wasn't for social media, I wouldn't have ever met Brian. Pretty much I met Brian over Periscope, and, ever since me and him have just kicked it off. So I'm very, very grateful for social media, but then again, I can kind of not like social media sometimes because I swear to God, some people, when they tweet stuff, they tweet too much information. For example, girls tweeting about your periods. Please don't do that. That is absolutely disgusting. No one wants to hear about what's going on with your uterus. That's disgusting, and I think Brian and Jeremy can completely 110% agree with me.
It's a heavy flow day.
Yeah, it's a heavy flow day. and then another thing, that I can't stand about it is just like all the, the negativity and the complaining. Like whenever, like I do this, like I swear to God, at least a few times when I go through my timeline, I'll just be like, oh my God, who cares? You know what I mean? They'll tweet like, oh, I'm petting my dog. It's like, who gives a damn? Like I don't care that you're, with your dog or with your cat or anything like that. Like tweet something that is informative or something or funny or entertaining or something like that. So that's, what I like about social media. And I kind of, said what I hate about social media. But Jeremy, what do you like about social media?
To me, I like, as you pretty much said, the fact that you get to be in touch with pretty much anybody from all around the world, and that's really cool, and you can keep in touch. That's really neat.
Yeah, absolutely.
The thing I don't think about it is there are kind of what you were saying is there's a lot of attention whores out there that, and I'm not just saying women, but men that will do anything to just get attention.
Yeah.
And want likes and retweets. I'm not a person that will care if somebody favorites or retweets me. I mean, it's nice when it does happen, but I'm just not that guy. And there will be people out there that will literally chop off their left nut if somebody will retweet them.
I know. Really, though, like people will do anything for a retweet or a favorite. It's kind of pathetic. But hey, also a little plug-in. Shout out to all my Twitter followers and all my Periscope followers. So now let's hear what my boy Mocha. That's what Kevin Harris had to say. So let's hear about what Mocha Latte has to say. Mocha Latte, what do you like about social media, bro?
The best thing I like about social media, I mean, you guys hit it on the head. If it wasn't for social media, I would not be sitting here today, a part of this awesome BSSN crew. I never would have met Blake. I never would have met Calvin Harris, a.k.a. Jeremy, a.k.a. Tonto Jr. I wouldn't have the big smile on my face when I can say that I'm a part of the crew now. And then again, getting to reach all the fans, getting to do this for them, getting to kick back, let them hear our thoughts. They get to ask us questions. I mean, that's a great thing. We could reach people like that. What I don't like about it, I think Blake hit one of them, the nail on the head when, I don't need to wake up and see on Facebook what your fucking blueberry muffin looks like, what your eggs look like, what your scones look like. I don't need to know that you're going to lunch now. I don't need to know any of that. Right? Just use it for what it's for. Contact the people you need to contact. Go about your day. If there's something important, put it out there so we can like it or give you some advice. But yeah, man, don't put your food on the fucking Facebook.
Yeah, like out of all the things, like it's just like we're not eating it. We don't need to see it. So hopefully, if you're one of those people, shame on you. Like, let BSSN teach you the ways of social media. And then another one that was brought to my attention, which I thought was very interesting, is do you think that Periscope and podcasting are going to help you reach your ultimate goal? Well, here's the thing. Pretty much I used Periscope to help my podcast, BSSN. And, Brian and Jeremy, tune in on this one with me too, because you're members of my team as well. But I think Periscope has helped out BSSN tremendously. Like, I met Brian through Periscope, and I wouldn't have him a member, my staff and as my team, had it not been for Periscope. But Periscope is the reason why I think BSSN is what it is. You know what I mean? Like, I'm glad that, my buddy Sean was just like, hey, dude, like this Periscope app, like some people use it to promote it. Like maybe you should do it. And then I got on it, a month ago, and here we are, 130,000 hearts later. So shout out to everyone that made it on Periscope. But, Jeremy and Brian, like, do you guys think that, Periscope has helped make BSSN what it is? Jeremy, what do you think?
It certainly helped, obviously. I mean, Periscope, we get to get on there and meet with a bunch of people throughout the world, or literally throughout the world, and tell them about what our podcast is, and have them follow us and listen to us. And that's helped. And Twitter, obviously, we get to go out and find guests. So it's obviously helped us with the podcast, no question.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Brian, your thoughts on Periscope and its relation to BSSN success?
Oh, yeah. I mean, huge success is being on Periscope. Like I said, that's the way I got added to the crew. If you were never on Periscope, I never would have found you guys. So, big ups to Periscope for even being around so we can do that. When I hopped in, first time seeing Blake, once you got through all the girls' requests about, oh, how old are you? Can you take your clothes off? Can you private DM me later? Once we got through all that, and he was actually talking wrestling, I was like, this is a cool ass guy. Then I got to meet Jeremy, another cool guy. So yeah, I mean, props to Periscope for it's the reason why I'm on BSSN.
Yeah, so without Periscope, I think BSSN wouldn't exist. I don't think that we would have the amount of fans that we have and the amount of listeners that we had it not been for Periscope. So if you're one of my Periscope followers listening to this, I appreciate you. So then another one was, do we ever plan on doing sports again? I could just answer this one really, really quick. Right now we're just focused on professional wrestling. That's where the success has been. And that's what me, Brian, and Jeremy and David, we all like talking about, because at the end of the day, people have ESPN and they're going to turn on ESPN. Now when it comes to wrestling, they don't have any outsider's perspective, you know what I mean? Like ESPN just picked up the WWE and they only talked about them for like 10 minutes Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern time, 5 p.m. Out west. So it's just like, people are going to listen to us about wrestling. They're not going to listen to our opinions about sports. So that's the reason why we did it. She asked if we're ever going to go on YouTube. Yes, that is a part of it. And then something that she wanted to ask us, this is her last question, is about the best and worst of 2015. So I'll go ahead and start out with this one, and we'll keep the BJB flow and keep on going. So in my mind, I think the worst, I'll start out with the worst. The worst part of 2015 was the whole entire whatever you call it, Bruce Jenner, Caitlyn Jenner. I don't know how people feel about this, but I just thought it was bad. Like everything about it was bad, because at the end of the day, there weren't really any winners. Like it was great for the transsexual people and the transgender people, coming out about it and all that. Like I understand and I get it, you know what I mean, but I just felt that, people were just targeting, people like that, and they were just humiliating them. And you know what? Like, it might go against my beliefs as a human being, but at the end of the day, like, I hated seeing all the disrespect go towards, the transsexuals out there and the Caitlyn Jenners out there. Like, it's bad. You know what I mean? And I think that was the worst part of 2015. And the best part of 2015 for me was seeing there's two things. The first thing being the Cubs' success. I didn't expect the Cubs, to do this well. So I was really, really happy with where we were. But I honestly think the number one thing about 2015, and this is probably going to be really, really cliche, and you're going to be like, oh, how gay. But honestly, I think like the whole entire BSSN thing, because like when I started it, I didn't expect it to get this long, but here we are, getting WWE legends like Teddy Long, Jake the Snake Roberts, and the Boogeyman, and like having all these listeners and having all these followers on Periscope. I think BSSN success was by far the best thing in 2015 for me. So Jeremy, best and worst of 2015 for you.
I have two lows. One obviously trumps the other, but one big low was obviously the Bill Cosby and Jared Fogle sex scandals.
Yeah.
Those were bad. Those did not look good, especially since Bill Cosby was such an icon to all of us. But that was big, big low in 2015. But another low that obviously trumps everything is the big ISIS outbreak.
Yeah.
That took over this wonderful country. Obviously, the attacks are just going to keep going. This is the first terrorist group that is everywhere. They're not just planted in one location. So that hurts. That's a big low. As for a big high, I guess it'd be my boo Taylor Swift changing the music industry.
You said it would be what?
My boo Taylor Swift, man. She's changing music. She went from country to pop. Dude, she's got Bad Blood and all those things out. There's a lot of highs and everything. I probably have to say the Cubs, man.
The Cubs, yeah.
The Cubs are on the rise, dude. They're going to win the World Series this year. I mean, that's probably the big high. I haven't dropped out of college yet.
That's always good. Stay in school.
Yeah, there's another high for you. There's been a lot of highs this year.
That there has. There's been, and that's when like because like I had a tough time too thinking of like some highs. Like I was like, man, like that's when you know it was a good year. But Brian, let's hear about you, brother. What is your high and your low of 2015?
Let's see, my low of 2015, and I don't want to start political debate for the people, the viewers, or anything like that, but
Yeah.
some of the lows for me of 2015 are all the Barack Obama, not even haters, but all the people that want to blame their problems on Barack Obama.
Yeah.
I lost my job because of Barack Obama. I broke my leg because of Barack Obama. Like, he's our president. Respect him. Let it go. Move forward with your life.
I agree with you on that one. I mean, hey, not to get into political things, but I mean, like, I'm, not the biggest Obama guy, but, like, I agree with that. Like, I always thought it was stupid how people would be like, oh, I failed my calc test. Thanks, Obama. It was stupid, and it was pity. You know what I mean?
I can't get laid because of Obama.
Yeah, that's something Nick McGrath would say. Sorry, Nick, if you heard that. That's an inside joke. So, Nick, if you're listening, I apologize, Nick. But just and the funny thing is, too, is like Nick's a big supporter of like libertarians. So he's not fond of Obama. So I don't know. He might be mad. Like he might have just broke his freaking phone when he heard that. So sorry, Nick, if you heard that. But Brian, what's your high of 2015?
Yeah, my high of 2015. All right, because she's waving at me right now in the living room, I'm supposed to say because my girl moved in with me. That was a high of 2015. Hopefully we'll edit that out.
He said, hopefully we'll edit that out.
Another high of 2015. I don't know if you guys, it was on one of the music awards. I don't know if you guys saw J-Lo do the whole dances where she did a montage of dances.
No, I didn't see that.
Oh my God. She did these montage of dances. She had like this skin tight outfit on.
Woo.
Do yourself a favor. Go check it out. That was a good high for me of 2015. And then, of course, I'm going to have to say it was a good year for movies, too.
Yeah, it was a pretty good year for movies.
Really good year for movies.
Like, let's think about what we got this year. We got Star Wars Episode 7, which was the biggest. We got, I'm biased when I say this, and Brian, I know you're a big Rocky fan, too. But we got Creed,
I love it, yeah.
We got some good superhero movies, like, it was, like, we got some good funny movies, like, if you haven't seen Daddy's Home, me and Jeremy saw it. We laughed our ass off. It's the one with Will Ferrell, Mark Wahlberg.
That was so funny.
Yeah,
funny.
Good. Brian saw it too. Yeah, check out that. Like, we were really, really fortunate. But this year it'll be tough in 2016, just because, like, we're not going to get Star Wars Episode 8 until 2018. Creed I don't think is going to come out this year. It's way too soon. But like, hopefully, they can keep the ball moving on the movies.
Oh yeah, you'll be stacked in 2016. We got all the Marvel movies coming out. We got Batman, Superman. You'll be stacked in 2016.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So Jeremy, what were you gonna say, man?
All right, so I've just got a real good low for you guys. What about the whip and nay-nay?
The whip and the nay-nay. Yeah, it just took the storm by. There's so many terrible dances made this year. I mean, the whip is kind of cool, but the nay-nay, looks stupid. I like the dab. And why do I like the dab? Because I can't dance as a white guy, and I can properly do the dab. So that's why I like the dab.
I look at some dancers, like the whip and the nay-nay, and I just sit there and I think, what the fuck is going on in some of these people's heads that make them dance like this? Like, what?
Yeah, I agree. Brian, what do you think about this dancing thing that's going on?
I'm gonna just put this out there. It's not about the whip and the nay-nay. If you haven't done yourself this favor, pull it up. Go hit the Quan.
Hit the Quan. I've seen it on Vine.
The Quan. Go hit the Quan.
And that song is catchy as hell too.
That song is catchy. And I don't know if you guys knew this, but back in the day, he came out with a song. He's really nice. And if you do yourself another favor, if you want to get hyped up, if you want a club hit. This is my 2015 club hit. He came out with a song back in the day. His name is Psy, P-S-Y. He came out with a song called Daddy. If you haven't listened to it, do yourself. I dare you to listen to it and not fucking dance.
All right, I'll give it a shot, because I'm not a big dancer. You said what, Jeremy?
Did you just say Psy?
Psy, yes, he said Psy.
Oh my gosh.
You know who Psy is?
Calvin Harris, go Google it, go YouTube it, and I dare you not to fucking dance.
Yeah, because Calvin Harris, you're a big DJ, so you should know this man.
Yeah, you're gonna mix it up.
Okay.
Man,
you're gonna mix it up.
Yeah,
play it for Taylor. Play it for Taylor, Calvin. Play it for Taylor.
Yeah, Taylor would like it. Taylor would like it.
Kanye song this year.
Kanye. What about Kanye?
What was the big Kanye song this year? That the kids make parodies of?
I mean, he made, oh, you're talking about the Hotline Bling. That just shows how white Jeremy is. That just shows how white he is right there. Because I was like, Kanye didn't come out with a dance. Okay, Kanye West came out with All Day, but the dance you're thinking about is the Hotline Bling. And look, I love Drake. You can't convince me otherwise.
I mean, it's a shit ton of parodies of it.
Yeah, the parodies, yeah. I like the parodies, though. They're funny. Like, my favorite one is the one where, like, he's playing ping pong and he has, like, the lightsaber, too. Like, I think that one's funny.
I like the Wii Tennis.
The Wii Tennis one? Yeah, the Wii Tennis one is pretty funny, too. Yeah. So, they made
some pretty good ones.
Yeah, the internet and, like, Twitter has actually been hilarious this year, like, with all the vines and all the parodies that they made of anything. Yeah,
internet is super quick. Props to everybody on that Mike Tyson hoverboard one. Have you seen the
yes.
Oh my god, dude. Oh my god.
They get so creative. Like the future is bright as hell. Like, we are in for some really, really funny years. Like, people can talk about this generation all they want, but at the end of the day, this generation is hilarious. It is simply hilarious. So, so I'm looking at this, like, the script of all the questions that I wrote out. This one came from Corey. Corey's a big fan of us, and he asked, what would be your ultimate dream match if you could put any two wrestlers from the past or present in a match together? So I think in this type of, mindset, you got to think of matches that have never happened that we always wanted to see. And in my mind, I would have loved to see CM Punk and Stone Cold Steve Austin. That's my go-to one. I don't even need to explain that, because both of their attitudes and both of their in-ring, abilities, I think it would be a phenomenal match. So I would want to see CM Punk versus Stone Cold Steve Austin. Jeremy, what's your dream match?
It's a beer drinker versus straight edge,
Yeah, drinking versus straight edge. It's the perfect storyline. You know what I mean? So, like, so are you agreeing that, your dream match would be Stone Cold and CM Punk, or do you have a different one?
No, but that would be a hellacious match.
Yeah.
I mean, remember when they did a promo backstage and Stone Cold was like, "What, bear?"
And CM Punk kept on saying, what? Yeah, I remember that one.
And he kept going, "What?" He goes, "You want a bear?" "What?" "Want a bear?" "Whiskey." "Vodka." He kept going, "What?"
Like, he pretty much named an entire bar menu, it seemed like. And it was good. Like, they had good chemistry together and all that. So mine would be CM Punk versus Stone Cold Steve Austin. Jeremy, do you have one in mind, ma'am?
These are two great trash talkers, too. That'd be a solid. I would have to choose the debut Undertaker. The purple glove, long hair, versus Sting.
Versus Sting, okay. I respect that.
But I'm not saying the current Undertaker. It would have to be the debut Undertaker.
Okay, so like the original Undertaker versus what Sting? Like, are we talking WCW Sting? Are we talking TNA Joker Sting? Are we talking the Sting that was in the WWE? Like, which Sting?
Oh no, the classic, white face Sting. The
okay.
Dark and the Mustache.
All right, yeah, I like that one. I think it would be cool to see them kind of go back and forth. You know what I mean? Like, and I think people always wanted to see that. And it's a shame that we didn't get to see that, and we won't get to see it because Sting's career is over. He suffered a neck injury, and most likely that will end his career. Just because at the end of the day, the guy is entering his 60s here soon too. So Brian, I'm kind of interested to hear your dream match. Who would your dream match be?
Yeah, you are interested to hear what I gotta say.
Brian's always got something slick to say. Oh wait, and Brian, hold on. Before you say something, I was really, really confused with that Sting Undertaker match. Do you want to know why, Brian?
Yeah, go for it.
I had no fucking idea Calvin Harris was a big WWE fan.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, like I was like, what? Like Calvin Harris is a WWE fan? Like I had no idea. Like I was like looking at his Wikipedia and it said nothing about him being a WWE fan. So I think like we low key may have an imposter. I'll have to look into that one. But anyways, Brian, who's your dream match? I'm interested to hear this.
So my dream match, the first one is going to be the most electrifying man in all of sports entertainment, The Rock, versus who I think is one of the most electrifying wrestlers. He's currently hurt, but still fucking electric, Seth Rollins.
I would like that. And do you want to know why? Because I am a huge fanboy of both of those guys.
That match would be off the charts.
Oh, absolutely. Because, The Rock being like the badass talker and his power style, and then Seth Rollins, being the authority, like the ultimate bad guy, like it would be great. And you know what? Like it's actually, still possible because think about it. The Rock is still, doing his thing with the WWE, and when Seth Rollins gets healthy, maybe we can see it. I mean, I doubt it will with the booking, but like that could be a match that happened. Like me and Jeremy's won't happen because Sting's on the shelf for good, and then CM Punk, I think he's done with the WWE. I think he's on with UFC. He's gonna have his first fight this summer, like me and Brian talked about in the Throwback Thursday one. But like the Rock and Rollins, I dig it, bro. I like that one, Brian. Good job, man.
It could definitely happen. I would have loved to see it. Obviously when Rocky's in his prime and Seth Rollins right now being in his prime. If they do it now, The Rock still got his swagger and all that, but let's face it, he's getting old too.
Yeah.
But that venue would definitely have to be inside because if he tried to contain that shit in a building, it's gonna blow up.
It really will. It really will.
Yeah.
Easily. Like people will be so excited about that. Like.
I'm excited right now. It's not even gonna happen. I'm excited right now.
Yeah, I'm honestly about to go turn on WWE 2K16 and about to like pick Seth Rollins and The Rock and just go back and forth with him. Like I may not even pick a player. Like I might just let it be a simulated match. You know what I mean? Just to see.
I don't know how Calvin Harris feels, but I got Wood right now.
Yeah. Calvin Harris, how do you feel about that one?
That'd be an awesome match. It'd be a cool match. I'll just say that. I don't know if I love Seth Rollins. He is the biggest star right now. But I don't know if I agree that he's the most electrifying man right now.
I don't know. What? Oh. Who do you think is better than Seth Rollins right now?
Right now, nobody. But I'm not saying he's the most electrifying man other than The Rock.
No. Like Brian was saying, like on the current roster right now, he's the one that's most electrifying. Like, who would?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Okay, yeah.
He's always trying to downplay my shit.
Kick your ass, bro.
Man, I'll tell you what. Right now, right after this podcast, who knows? Maybe I'll be the special guest referee, and you guys can battle it out inside a Hell in a Cell. Who knows? We'll have to see. But anyway.
What's your PlayStation name, Brian?
Yeah, what's your PlayStation name, Brian?
That's the thing. It's just not PlayStation. I got Xbox. He's already hurting right now. He's got a back injury because he's got a PlayStation.
Yeah, I got a PlayStation. Hey, I love the PlayStation 4. See, Brian's a big Xbox guy, and so is his lady Jenna. And then me and Jeremy, we've always been PlayStation guys. But you know what? Maybe we can all get together and we can have like a tournament. Like we'll record the matches and see who wins. I don't know how we'll do it. Jenna can get in the tournament. Who knows? Maybe I'll let some fans get in the 2K tournament. We'll have to see. That's something that just popped in my mind, and I think we should do it.
We should totally definitely do that. In April, you know what? I will have a PlayStation 4, and you want to know why?
Why is that?
The only reason I will ever touch a PlayStation is for Uncharted.
Okay. Yeah, I've heard a lot of like great reviews about that game.
Yeah, so April, the new Uncharted comes out. I have a PS4. I'll be playing it if we can squeeze it in by then because probably somewhere around May, I'll probably sell it because I'll be done with the game.
Dang. All right. Okay. Well, hey, go to your Redbox and go get 2K and like we can do a big 2K tournament or something like that and we can arrange it. And who knows, maybe like the winner gets a gift card or like some free merch or something like that. We'll have to look into that. So let's go ahead and do a little. I mean, we're still in the wrestling news, but some guy on Periscope, Brian and Jeremy, you watched the Periscope when I was on it. You guys know exactly where I'm going with this one. But a guy by the name of Wone20. Bro, I would say your first name, but, your name is Wone20. So I'm assuming your name is Wone, okay? He asked, what happened to China? Now, Jeremy and Brian, you guys know exactly what went down. Pretty much, she took her talents to the world of pornography. She did a sex tape with X-Pac. I think, yeah, if you're not down with that, we got 2 words for you. Suck it, and like that's, yeah.
Literally.
So, she got into that industry, which, kind of, ruined all her chances of being a WWE Hall of Famer. I know she still does make some wrestling appearances. Like she was at an independent promotion here in my hometown in Indianapolis not too long ago. So she still wrestles a little bit, but pretty much where she's making her money is in the adult film business. So Jeremy, Brian, how do you feel? This is what I'm going to ask you guys. How do you feel about China and, her pornography career? I've never watched it and I never will. Just because it's freaking China. Jeremy, Brian, what do you guys think about it? Were you shocked when it happened? Where, I was shocked when it happened. I had no idea. When I learned about it was pretty much when Triple H announced it on the Stone Cold podcast. He said, China did some things with her career. And I was like, what? And then I Googled her and I was like, what? No way. So, Jeremy, Brian, Calvin Harris and Mocha Latte, what are your guys' thoughts on China?
Dude, it's her fucking body and it's doing for her what she wants to do, and that's up to her. I don't know. I mean, what do I have to say in it? If she wants to fucking do it, then she can fucking do it.
Right. Brian.
Now what pisses me off is that she's being considered not going in the Hall of Fame because of her decision when it's none of their damn business.
Yeah, but you got to keep in mind with the PG rating, you know what I mean? That would just look very hypocritical on the WWE.
It does not matter. It does not matter. Then they can't put X-Pac in the Hall of Fame or X-Pac.
Yeah, that is true. And isn't Sean Waltman? Did he go into the Hall with the Click or no?
Yes, he did.
Okay. Huh. Then yeah, China deserves a spot in the Hall of Fame in my mind. You know what? If Sean Waltman got in, then she deserves to get in.
Hulk Hogan shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, his sex tape was leaked, though. You know what I mean?
He released a sex tape, for God's sake.
Well, it wasn't released. It was pretty much leaked. He didn't.
Still.
Yeah, and I think that's comparing apples to oranges. Brian, what's your whole take on this?
My take is, if you haven't gone and seen this particular one, I went and watched it. It's called Backdoor to China.
The name for it.
I have personally watched Backdoor to China, and I can tell you exactly why he won't be in the Hall of Fame. Because if you go and you watch that, it is set up just like she is in wrestling. There's a wannabe, Vince McMahon looking character. It's all this big stage off her being in wrestling. So I can see exactly why they're not putting her in the Hall of Fame, because that Backdoor to China movie totally makes fun of the whole industry of wrestling through a porno.
Wow. Okay, yep, she does not deserve to be in it. Now I understand exactly why Vince McMahon hates her. I know why Triple H hates her. I know why Triple H refuses to talk to her now. Wow. Yeah.
I did it.
Man,
I'm not ashamed. I was proud of it.
He said,
I don't care. I still don't care. She deserves to be in the Hall of Fame.
Oh no, she tarnished the WWE.
Oh, she totally deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. I'm just letting you know why they won't put her in.
I don't think she deserves to be in the Hall of Fame after doing that. I think she.
Here's my point. It does not matter. The fact that she made Vince McMahon millions in the Attitude Era that's it. Plain and simple. She deserves to be in the Hall of Fame.
But here's the thing, though. The WWE, pretty much, if you tarnish the company in any way, shape, or form, they're not going to let you in. For example, look at Chris Benoit. You could say, hey, he had a WWE Hall of Fame career, but he won't be in. Why? Because he's a murderer. You know what I mean? And I know, that's completely different, but it put a black eye on the...
Yeah, it's a way different thing. Maybe she's not a murderer.
No, I know, but hold on. Let me get to my point. You know what I mean?
She is kind of a murderer if you think about it.
Who's that?
vagina.
What do you mean? Elaborate on that one.
She murdered that dick.
She murdered that dick. I was like, wait a minute. I was like, where is he going with this one? Yeah, Brian is coming to a stand-up comedy near you because this guy's been killing it the entire podcast. Man, follow him on Twitter too. He's funny as shit. I had no idea Brian was this funny. Follow him on Twitter, Brian Armand 24. Like, this dude keeps on making my damn day. Okay, so here's another question for you. This actually involves a wrestler that has a history in the porn industry. So someone said, who you pick? Like, who do you like more? Val Venus or Jeremy, you were the one that got... Yes, Billy and Chuck or Val Venus. I gotta go with the Big Valboski. Like, I don't know. I thought it was hilarious. I think it's one of the best characters of all time in the Attitude Era, and I thought it was completely freaking hysterical, and I think it completely defined the Attitude Era. Billy and Chuck was weird because here's the thing that people forget. Yeah, they played a gay couple, but remember, they pretty much, the storyline ended that, like, right before their wedding, like, they called it off because we were just doing this for publicity, which I kind of thought was funny. But that's how that one got downplayed. But both of them, very, very entertaining. Shout out to Billy Gunn for, doing that horrendous, because, like, looking back at it, like, they kind of degraded gay people, and, like, he probably still gets shit about that to today. But Val Venus, I don't know what he's doing in his life. I don't know if he's making movies again. I don't know what the heck he's doing. I think he's still alive, but I want to know what Val Venus is up to. Maybe we can get Val Venus on the show because the big Val...
They did a Where Are They Now segment on him. He's like a traffic cop or something.
What? Val Venus, a former porn star, is a cop? What? Goodness gracious! I never would have guessed that. Brian. So okay, Jeremy, Brian. Okay, so who are you picking? Jeremy, sorry about that. Jeremy, who are you picking?
Billy and Chuck. I love Val Venus and I love the Val Venus character, but Billy and Chuck with Rico, they were entertaining. I loved it. Rico was the centerpiece, obviously, but Rico was entertaining.
Yeah, and I think we can all agree. I think all three of us can agree on this.
People forget, obviously, that was Billy Gunn, but the people forget Chuck Palumbo came back in, like, 2006, 2005, remember?
Yeah.
Came back with long black hair and rode in on a motorcycle.
Yeah, that one didn't work too well, did it?
Yeah, Billy and Chuck, man.
Yeah, and Billy Gunn, if anyone's wondering what happened with him, pretty much he juiced up on steroids, and that's why he's no longer a member of the NXT product. He was pretty much a head trainer, but that's why he got fired. But Brian, anyways, it's tied up 1-1. Like, you get to decide what BSSN thinks. Are you going with Val Venus, or are you going with Billy and Chuck?
I mean, of course, you have to go with Val Venus.
Yes.
So, Val Venus had such an awesome character. The Billy and Chuck thing, like you said, it was borderline inappropriate. Whoever thought of that storyline, like, really? Really? You don't have anything better to do than to put these two guys in that kind of storyline?
How do you call Billy and Chuck inappropriate, but a porn star character isn't?
No, we're talking about how Chuck should have been in the Hall of Fame. And I know why Val Venus is a traffic cop, because he already had the outfit.
Okay, hold on. I'm crying. I'm about to cry. Like, I can feel the tears. He said he already had the outfit. Oh, my God. Oh, you know what, guys? Okay, all three of us are going to get together every single week, and we're going to do this shit. This is a permanent installment.
Not forget, though, that Val Venus got his dick chopped off.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Funny.
That was hilarious. Freaking Val.
That's classic. You can't beat that.
Can we please get Val Venus in the Hall of Fame, or, like, bring him back?
How is that not inappropriate, but two gay guys is inappropriate for you, Brian?
Can we just put Val Venus's penis in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, the big Valboski. No, speaking of... Okay, all right, not to be gay at all in this. I'm a straight man, and I'm very, very, I know what I am. But this is another guy, like, speaking of penises, that, like, his career was based around his penis. Do you guys remember Big Dick Johnson?
Yes.
He popped out of the cake. Like, I remember the one time when, like, John Cena, he was like, he just came on Raw for the first time, and he had the WWE spinner belt. And I remember it was in, like, Boston's hometown, and, like, he was awkwardly dancing in that little banana hammock. I was like, I was so uncomfortable about it. Like, oh my God, like, I was so uncomfortable, and I was like freaking 9 or 10, 11 years old. Like, what do you guys remember about Big Dick Johnson?
Dude, he was a fat guy in a banana hammock.
Yeah.
I think that's where they.
Actually,
I think,
dude, greased up fat guy in a banana hammock.
Yeah. Like, okay, Brian, what do you feel about Big Dick Johnson?
dude, I was just gonna say, I think that's where they based that commercial, that cartoon. You guys probably remember it, Bananas in Pajamas.
Oh, yeah. But, dude, that was my shit.
That's a cartoon about Big Dick Johnson.
Yeah. It completely is. It's just big banana. And, okay, this is another thing, too. If we want to talk about some terrible gimmicks, just imagine this, okay, guys? Imagine you've been busting your ass off as an independent wrestler, and the WWE signs you, and you're like, you're going to debut on the main roster, and we got this great idea. And you're like, okay, what is it, Vince? He's like, you are going to be known as Big Dick Johnson, and you're going to wear a banana hammock. Like, how do you react to that? Like, you've been working all your life for this. Your parents are probably so proud of you. Like, oh my God, my boy finally got that contract. And then, your grandmother turns it on and she sees you in a goddamn banana hammock. Like, could you imagine what he had to go through? Like, what terrible trauma.
Dude, that's nothing. Think of the Guerrero family, how prestige that name is. And Hector Guerrero gets the freaking gobbledygooker.
That is true. That is true. Like, the Guerrero family getting that, like, that is absolutely tragic.
Got the gobbledygooker.
Brian, can you think of any terrible gimmicks?
Oh yeah, we were just talking about one, Billy and Chuck.
Billy and Chuck, yeah, like awful.
That's the thing. Listen, Calvin, don't get your feelings hurt. It's like Blake was just saying. You've been busting your butt, you've been taking bumps and bruises, you've been working hard, you've been getting your, all your move sets and all that kind of stuff. You're working out, you're training to be something, and they come up and they're like, we got the best idea ever for you two. We're going to throw you guys in as a couple together. Like, what?
I'll tell you.
It wasn't a failed gimmick. It wasn't a failed gimmick if you're tag team champion.
You want me to what?
Yeah, but hold on. You said that, okay, yeah, they won the tag team titles, but what we're not saying it was a failed gimmick. We're saying it was a bad gimmick. Like, no one wants to be that. Like, two straight men don't want to act like gay men on TV.
I agree with you on that.
Okay, there we go.
And that was the agreement for them to win the tag titles. Is like, look, you do this storyline because we think it's funny. We want to see you do it. We'll make you tag champions.
Yeah. Now, I don't understand, like, they never really did anything for Big Dick Johnson, you know what I mean? Like, they were like, hey, go wear this banana hammock, and maybe one of these days we'll give you a goddamn pat on the back. Like, the dude never had a match, which, thank God, because I would refuse to wrestle a match against a guy in a banana hammock that weighs, 360 pounds. I would not be a fan of that.
Hey, you ready for another completely dumb tag team?
All right, let's hear it.
Deuce and Domino. Remember them?
Yeah.
From the other side of the track.
Yeah.
Like Deuce and Domino.
It kind of slipped my mind, but yeah, that was...
They were like the 50s greasers.
Yeah, and it just completely failed, and it was bad. It was awful. I'm trying to think.
They were even billed from the other side of the tracks.
Yeah, like that's cheesy. I hate those when people are like, oh, from the depths of hell, they will come up with the most stupid sayings. Like, no, just say where they're from, like the Demon Kane, like just say parts unknown. I'm fine with parts unknown, but don't say from the depths of hell.
They don't mention where he's from.
Okay, I didn't know if they said that, but like, I know on WWE 2K16, like, when you create a superstar, like, you can say, from your darkest fears. I'm like, oh my gosh. Like,
really?
Yeah, it's like, he's not Freddy Krueger. Please don't say that. Brian, can you think of any bad gimmicks?
Besides Chuck and Billy?
Besides Chuck and Billy.
Man, shut the hell up, Brian.
We're getting hostile up in here.
Look, I make you a bad gimmick.
Hey, Jeremy, I'll tell you what. Right now you sound really sensitive. How about Calvin, you sound a little sensitive. How about you go listen to some of your girlfriend's music?
Brian, Blake, I'm about to make both of you bad gimmicks if you don't shut the hell up.
I think Calvin Harris has got some bad blood going on.
I think he does. I think he needs to chill. Yeah. I mean, hey, you know how to spin those records, so you're pretty good with your hands. So maybe you need to go watch some China. You know what I mean? Maybe go watch a little Val Venus, and then you can get it all out. I mean, you're cool with that, Billy and Chuck stuff. So maybe you want to go watch that type of weird stuff. Who knows?
Gotta go spin that hot Kanye West track, Hotline Bling.
Yeah, that Kanye West one. Jeremy, I'm so.
Wait, what's the freaking question?
What's that?
What's the next question?
What's the next question? Okay, Jeremy wants to change the subject. Well, I'm looking at my script right now, and I don't really see any. So now it's kind of up to you guys. What are y'all wanting to talk about?
We're at 58 freaking minutes for this podcast. And what are we going to talk about?
I mean, hey, we can keep on going.
One,
What's that?
the Pacers just won.
The Pacers just won. Good deal. But I'll tell you what. Let me go ahead, check my phone, see if we got any other questions, and then if not, we can chat it up a little bit. Because I think this one's been pretty fun. This one is absolutely hilarious so far.
I think if you guys don't mind, real quick, while Blake's looking for some questions to see if there's anything else, I think we have a special guest that would like to say hi to all the listeners here.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. Let's bring on the special, let's bring on the guest. Introduce him, Mocha Latte, and let's hear who it is.
All right, without further ado, she was feeling a little left out because we haven't been getting her a lot of credit. She is part of the crew. She's not as funny as us three, but she's probably a lot cuter than us. So without further ado, here's Jenna Bettner.
Jenna, how's it going? Welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you, Brian, for that lovely introduction. I just wanted to say hi to all of you. And he definitely is incorrect. I am more funny than he is.
I don't know about that one. I don't know, Jenna, with all due respect.
You don't even know. It's because every time that you are on Periscope, he hogs everything. I don't even get a word in. So you don't even know who I am.
Well, Jenna, I'll tell you what. We'll get you on one soon, and we'll get it all arranged. Jeremy, what were you saying?
I said that's just him being a man. Men like to hog things.
I'm cool with Brian. Brian is my boy, and as far as I'm concerned, he is A-okay with me. But yes, guys, be sure to check out Jenna. I always thought her last name was pronounced Botner, not Bettner, so apologize about that one, Jenna. But Jenna,
you're fine.
Yes, Jenna, she's a cool chick. Check her out, She blogs it up, and, she has, the most funny guy in her life, Brian. And Brian's a freaking clown. Brian's a clown. He's a lucky guy. But let me tell you a little bit about this couple, guys. You know what? They're better than Kim Kardashian and Kanye West. They're better than Barack and Michelle. They are the best couple in the world. Check them out on Periscope. I'll always share them. They're great people.
Hashtag power couple.
Hashtag Brian's the most funny motherfucker that I know. Hashtag Brian. We can do Bradgelina. What's one? We can do. I don't know. We can combine their names. That's tough with Jenna and Brian. I don't know. We'll think of one and all that. But guys, I'm looking through my phone right now, and I don't see any other fan mail. So I'll tell you what, Brian, Jenna, Jeremy, we'll go with Jeremy first. Jeremy, any final things you want to leave the people with?
Nothing. I think I'm about signed off. I think we're good to go. It's been a fun podcast. I'm looking forward to the next one.
Absolutely, guys. And this one, originally we're going to call it a fan mail one, but I think we're going to make this a permanent fix. I think we're going to call it BSSN Unfiltered. I think that one's a good name. Jenna, you have anything you want to say to him? Well, it's not unfiltered so we're a lot more funny than her. But we'll call it unfiltered with BSSN, not Renee Young. But shout out to Renee Young, she's beautiful. But anyways, Jenna, anything you want to say to the people? Anything you want to say to the people, Jenna?
Just that I'm so excited to be able to be here and can't wait for one with just us, maybe talking about the divas, and definitely check out Instagram and our Periscope.
Absolutely. I'll be sure to put that in the links to this very podcast. All right, now my favorite. I'm honestly willing to call this guy right now one of the favorite people in my life, just because of how funny he is. But Brian, anything you want to leave the people with?
Of course, yeah. Shout out to all our BSSN followers that support us and everything like that. Like I said, new to the team, but loving every second of it. Love Blake. Love Calvin Harris, a.k.a. Jeremy, a.k.a. Tonto Jr. It's going to be the rest of his life that we're going to call him that. So be sure to listen to us.
Love you too, brother.
Big shout out to Jeremy and Blake for doing awesome things. They got Teddy Long, they got Jake the Snake, they got the Boogeyman, so tune in. They're doing some big things. Everybody just hop on their coattails and we're going to take you for an awesome ride.
Yes, we will. 2016. Yes, we appreciate it. 2016 belongs to BSSN, guys. Hopefully you guys had some good laughs on this. And until next time, for Brian, for Jeremy, for Jenna, and for myself, we will talk to you guys later.